Here's a speech-style version of your article in over 50 flowing paragraphs, with no numbering or instructional interruptions, a direct, powerful narrative. Elliot Hopkins has spent the better part of his life advocating for something that often gets overshadowed in the glitter of high school sports: sportsmanship. He believes that one word, sportsmanship, should be the heartbeat of every high school game, match, and tournament. But he's the first to admit it isn't glamorous. Sportsmanship is not sexy, he says, speaking plainly and truthfully. As the Director of Student Services for the National Federation of State High School Associations, he's traveled the country, pushing programs and initiatives that uphold character and respect. But when he walks into local gyms or fields, the message isn't always front and center. The irony is heavy: the very thing that should define high school athletics is often invisible. It's not just about what happens on the field. It's what spills into the bleachers, the locker rooms, and even into car rides home. Bad behavior doesn't start with kids. Often, it's modeled by the adults around them. Parents who scream at officials. Coaches who throw tantrums. Fans who fight in the stands. And the kids, well, they follow. One moment can flip a game into chaos. One technical foul can light the match. In March, during a playoff game in Pennsylvania between Meadville and Uniontown, that moment came. A foul, a scuffle, a brawl in the stands among adults. Arrests, handcuffs, headlines. It wasn't just embarrassing, it was heartbreaking. Because that's not what high school sports are about. Not to Elliot Hopkins. Not to thousands of educators, coaches, and students who know better. As spring turns to summer, and postseasons heat up, administrators feel their stomachs tighten. They hope, pray, that games end with a handshake, not a hospital visit. Because school sports were never supposed to mimic professional leagues. They were never meant to be training grounds for nil deals, endorsement money, or YouTube fame. They're not about followers or stats. They're about foundation, character, leadership, humility, teamwork, compassion, commitment. These values don't get televised. They don't trend on TikTok. But they are everything. Hopkins says people misunderstand the mission. They think we're here to get kids ready for college ball or the big leagues. That's not it at all, he continues. We're here to make them better people. It's not glamorous, but it's real. It's about helping a teammate up. About shaking your rival's hand after a hard-fought battle. It's about letting the losing team walk off the court with dignity. About knowing your role in something bigger. Sports should unite us, not divide us. They should be a mirror that reflects the best of our communities, not the worst of our impulses. But it takes work. And it takes perspective. At the Project Play Summit in Berkeley, leaders and coaches gathered to talk about exactly this: where we are, and where we're going. Project Play, launched by the Aspen Institute, pushes for equity and inclusion in sports for kids from all backgrounds. It believes sports should be available to every child, regardless of race, class, or zip code. And it sees high school athletics as a critical battleground. There's proof to back it up. Students who play sports are more likely to stay in school, more likely to graduate, more likely to feel like they belong. Sports offer identity, a reason to try, a place to be seen. But they also carry pressure. And if we're not careful, that pressure can crush what matters most. Social media distorts priorities. Highlight culture elevates ego. Recruiting hype turns middle schoolers into commodities. And when adults act out, kids absorb it. So what can we do? We return to the basics. To cupcakes and donuts in the concession stand. To rural parents raising money for referees, shirts and fresh chalk for the field. To small-town bleachers where everyone knows everyone, and respects the game. Because while some schools have million-dollar boosters, others rely on bake sales and booster clubs. But they all share the same field, the same court, the same hope. Frankie Navarro of the California Interscholastic Federation knows this too well. He sees the divide in Oakland, rich and poor, side by side, but believes in the power of school sports to bridge it. He sees games not just as competition, but as community. As violence prevention. As therapy. As peace. Because for many, this is the only place where they feel safe to express themselves. Where a win is more than a score, it's survival, it's joy, it's purpose. Participation in high school sports recently topped 8 million again, a recovery from pandemic lows. And that number isn't just stats. It's healing. Because during the isolation of COVID, kids suffered. Some were lost. Sports brought many of them back. It gave them teammates, gave them structure, gave them light. But now, we must protect that light. We must teach that how you win, and how you lose, matters more than the scoreboard. That your integrity echoes longer than your stat line. That the loudest cheers should be for effort, not ego. That sportsmanship may not be sexy, but it is sacred. And that the future of high school sports doesn't rest on scouts or scholarships. It rests on us. The parents in the stands. The coaches in the locker room. The refs who show up rain or shine. The kids who play for love, not likes. We are all responsible. Because in the end, what we teach on the field shapes what kids carry into life. And maybe, just maybe, we can raise a generation that values respect over rage. That knows how to lead with honor and lose with grace. That knows the game isn't just about the final buzzer, it's about everything we do before and after it sounds. Let me know if you'd like this formatted as a script, article, or video voiceover.